came to the church in sometime in 2006 or 2007 in 7th grade, and then I started out in the worship band upstairs for the youth program and got my handle there on bass guitar, and then eventually stepped up to guitar there, and then one day I got the opportunity to play bass at the contemporary service, and then eventually stepped over to guitar at the contemporary service.
I believe I came here in June. It was 2007, 2008. And I started playing in the worship band with the youth when I was in the 6th grade, which would have been about 2010 or 2011. And then in about whenever I got into high school is when I came up and played with the worship team. So that was probably about 2013.
You got to be in high school
Yeah.
to make it to the big stage.
I moved up the big leagues.
And Jonathan, when did you come to the church?
I started coming here in August of 2010. Michael Lee invited me, and he said you guys needed a drummer, so decided to come hang out for a Thursday night session, and I've been here ever since.
So we'll just go down the line. What is Myrtle Grove meant to you, Ryan?
Well, personally, like we said, as far as just getting here to the band, and it's been a huge platform, just as, getting my handle on the instrument, on guitar, and being able to grow as a musician, and, really also grow. At first it was just, scared to death up here playing, trying to get some notes out, and then eventually you realize, okay, you need to be worshiping up here. And so it's been cool to see, to have a safe place to play a lot of wrong notes, and, there's a lot of forgiveness. And, so it's a good place to hone the craft, and so I've been really grateful for that opportunity, for sure.
Musically, this was a place for me to grow in. I started playing in the 6th grade, and I was on and off with instruments, and I really liked instruments, but then I started playing upstairs in the youth, and it really made me want to get better. I was in the middle school band, but it was really the worship band that made me want to get better. It made me want to produce more quality music, because I started to feel like if I was going to do this for God, if I was going to praise, if I was going to worship, then I wanted to do it at the level that He gifted me with. And so I worked very hard to learn and to get better, and to get to a point to where I was able to start leading worship in the church in high school, and not a lot of people can say that.
I gotta say, some of the best people I know, personality-wise and spirituality-wise, go here. And I am eternally grateful for the friendships I've made here. And even the people I don't know in the congregation, just seeing how the music affects them, it touches me spiritually every Sunday. And I've never really had a chance to say that to anybody, but it really does.
It's been huge as far as just the youth group is,
Yeah.
Growing up through the youth group, all the different trips, going to CFAT, going to ARM, going to, once we started Ignite, and, it took multiple camps and multiple sessions to really, each time, broke down that curtain, and you feel like you get closer to God each time, and you grow in that relationship. And so youth group's been huge.
Worship team wise, if I could think of any interesting story, it would probably just be any sort of antics that we have on a Tuesday night. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what anyone's going to say. It could be something completely crazy. It could be something completely spiritual. Like, you never know where the night's going to go. And so we just have so much fun every single week, doing our thing and playing our instruments and hanging out. And honestly, it's given me friendship. It's given me kind of stewardship, and also kind of I have to be accountable to these people and to the congregation. if I'm going to lead worship, my idea of what I'm doing can't always revolve around what I want to do. Sometimes, my choices have to reflect what God wants me to do and where I'm being led to go. And I think a lot of times, I'd like to do whatever I want to do in my life, and I felt like I was accountable to this congregation, to this church, and to this worship team, and it's allowed me to grow to the point to where I don't really struggle with a lot of the things that I used to, mainly from the ministry that I've had and the accountability that I've had through this church.
Manny, you might not have a story, but
Myrtle Grove Mud Dogs.
yeah.
I always remember.
Wait, tell us about the Myrtle Grove. I don't know if most church knows about Myrtle Grove.
Myrtle Grove Mud Dogs ran for two dynasties.
Two seasons.
Two
One
seasons.
really, really bad and one fairly decent.
One fairly decent. The fairly bad one was 0 wins. I think one game we were tied at halftime, and that was a win. Tied at halftime, lost the game.
So we might have been winning at halftime, which would have been even better.
Man,
You remember the only game where I scored and it was after the buzzer?
Oh man.
and it was a big half court shot too, and we were like, yes. But it was like, no, didn't count.
They
didn't go to the replay. Though.
yeah, they liked us a whole lot better the first year. Then the second year when we started beating them, they didn't like us.
They
as
started
much 'cause
playing
I-
harder too.
I think they realized like we're the Cleveland Browns of the basketball team.
You can't get beat. You can't get beat by the Mud Dogs. If you get beat by the Mud Dogs, it's a bad day.
One funny thing I can think of is just not a certain time, but every Sunday when we're raising the barn. That's always always interesting.
barn.
For those that don't know, it's the backdrop we use
It's
in the
huge.
contemporary service.
Real huge. A huge black curtain.
Yeah.
I mean, you can share as much as you want to share.
Yeah, I want to reiterate kind of what Jonathan said. Like it's really great as a leader on this stage and just someone in the band in general to look out at the congregation and see how it affects them. Maybe not every person is super into it, but it's the act of maybe we're doing something to them in their heart spiritually with them, and we're helping them. It helps us to help them, and it helps me grow, and it's helped all of us grow to see everyone else benefit from what we're doing. Because essentially we're not doing it for our benefit, we're doing it for their benefit and for Christ's benefit. And we're worshiping with them, and we're worshiping for the same thing. And just because we're on the stage does not mean that we're any different from anybody in that congregation. We are right there with every single person in worshiping God. It's not an act, it's not a performance.
Yeah, we're not rock stars.
Yeah, no, we aren't rock stars, so it's not like we're getting paid $1,000 a gig. We do this for Christ.